Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video with your old Uncle Carl at the Easy Prepping channel here. And today is our second video on firearms and ammunition. First video I promised I'd follow up and do a video on bullets. And if you recall from the last lesson, the bullet is the part that actually leaves the firearm by the end of the barrel. The entire piece that is loaded into the firearm is called a round. It is not called a bullet. But getting into bullets, one thing I forgot to put in the other video is that if you're looking into getting a firearm, I said check ammo first. Well, look at the prices on the different ammo. Depending on your budget, well, it might influence what caliber of firearm you look at acquiring. So just a piece of advice there. Now, back to bullets. One of the primary things to look at in bullets is the weight, which is measured in grains. And one time somebody asked me, I didn't know. I had to go look it up. A grain, well, it takes 2,000 grains to make 1 pound. So there's what a grain is. But everything is relative. So we have 40 grain up to 185 grain. Anyway, because the weight has a lot to do with the impact power of the bullet. The formula for figuring that out is the weight times the velocity. Gives you the kinetic energy. Something called power pack. It's weight times velocity divided by 1,000. I just look at the weight and the velocity to consider how hard the bullet's going to hit. An example I thought of using here is, if you don't believe in velocity mattering, think if you had a small rock and you just tossed it lightly at say a piece of cardboard. It would bounce off. But you take that same rock at the exact same weight and you throw it as hard as you can, it's going to go through the cardboard. So there's just a very basic example of why weight and velocity matter. And when looking at ammo, at bullets, what's given on the box is what's called the muzzle velocity. That is what the manufacturer thinks the bullet will be traveling when it leaves the barrel, right at the end of the barrel. Yeah, the first type I'd like to bring up here is called the full metal jacket. You might have heard by a movie by that name. But anyway, that is normally the least expensive rounds for just about any firearm. The exception would be the 22 and 22 Magnum, that I've discovered that full metal jacket can actually cost more than more of the self-defense type rounds. But as a general rule, most of what you use at the firing range will be full metal jacket because it's the least expensive to shoot. And at the end of the box, it will be labeled FMJ for full metal jacket. Breaking that down, there are 2 types of full metal jacket. Some of the boxes designate the type and some don't, but there's full metal jacket that's flat point and full metal jacket that's round nose. So that'd be FMJ RN or FMJ FP. So most types of ammo, most calibers, what you're going to shoot at the range is full metal jacket. That is not recommended for use as a self-defense round because it does not expand. I've seen only a few full metal jacket rounds that I've seen change shape after impact, and that's when they've hit something really hard like a rock. Now, other types of bullets, and there are many, will be labeled more for either self-defense or hunting. First one I'd like to mention is the soft point. It's in this 223. The box is labeled 55 grain soft point. And I'll find some pictures to put up here on the screen. And next we have hollow point. which would have the designation on the end of the box, would say HP. Once again, a self-defense round. These are meant more to expand after impact, creating a bigger wound cavity, it's called, doing more damage. That's why they're used for self-defense. And after that, we have a kind of a combination one. It's called a jacketed hollow point. That's where you have the lead is a hollow point. We'll have a hole in it, but around the outside of the lead, it will have a metal jacket. This helps it control how much the bullet expands and how quickly. And after that, there is semi-jacketed soft point and jacketed soft point. Now, when I've looked here, I can't really find much difference in those two rounds. And as far as I'm concerned, they're pretty much the same. And to go along with the jacketed soft point, there are some now that say bonded. I think these rounds have only come out in the last, as far as I know, about 6 to 8 years. And that is where they've taken glue, for want of a better term, and bonded the jacket to the lead, therefore keeping it from separating after impact. It maintains its one piece as it penetrates. And after that, the last one I have here listed is the lead round nose. If you see that, that's more of a old-time ammunition. There's one in, I believe, a 357 Magnum, and it's just lead, and it's just a round nose, and it will expand on impact, but not with the predictability of a hollow point. And that designation is LRN. And one other thing I'd like to mention here about bullets is some manufacturers just come up with their own designation. Here we have one put out by a very large ammo company called Hornady. This one is a 45 Colt, and they call it the 185 grain FTX. I went online to Hornady's website and cannot find exactly what FTX stands for. But a lot of Hornady self-defense ammo, and I'll get a picture up here, has a Teflon piece inside the hollow point. Their theory being that a lot of hollow points, when fired, the first thing they penetrate is clothes, sometimes thick clothes, denim, leather jackets, and that the hollow point will fill up with that material and keep it from expanding the way it's supposed to. Their solution, they say, is this Teflon insert into the hollow point. If you want more information on these, there are dozens of videos out there where people shoot into a substance called ballistic gel, and you can actually see the wound cavity. They'll pull out the bullet and show you what it does, how it expanded. So if you want to dig deeper, I'd recommend go to some of those videos with ballistic gel test. And one last piece of advice: when you're in your, say, your local sporting goods store, you're searching for ammunition, on the ends of the box, they should give you the grains, the type of bullet, and some give you the muzzle velocity, as in this CCI, which is a very good 22 ammunition. This one is 40 grains, jacketed hollow point, 1,875 feet per second. A less expensive 22 long rifle, that was Magnum, is a 38 grain copper plated hollow point. The types are many and numerous. It's a 308 round, 180 grain bonded soft point. We just discussed what bonded meant. And this one's muzzle velocity is at 2,600, and it also gives a chart, because bullets slow down after they leave the barrel. There's no longer anything pushing them. And this one tells you it's a 200 yards, it's down to 2,260 feet per second, etc., etc. It does slow down. Also gives you the approximate bullet drop, because after a bullet's fired, there's a thing called gravity. It tends to pull them toward the ground as they travel. One other thing about bullets is that they spin. The inside of the barrel in your weapon is rifled, it's called. If you look in there, you'll see grooves that are circular. These cause the bullet to spin, giving it better accuracy. One other note thing I forgot is some bullets will say BT or boat tail. I will put a picture up here of a boat tail bullet, but as a beginner, you're not going to really need that. That's more for long range shooting, as it's supposed to increase the accuracy of the bullet as it flies down range. Well, as usual, we come to the point in the video where I ask you to please subscribe if you have not done so already. If you found this informative, like the video, please click that like, thumbs up button. Today's quote is by Alexander Graham Bell. Before anything else, preparation is the key to success. Thank you for watching.